sink.
Shut up, don't say that.
That'll be our title.
I woke up this morning and I noticed like this very, very strong smell. Maybe 3 hours later, I was like, okay, this smells too much. This is new. It's never been like this. Something's up. And I went and opened one of the doors and I noticed one of them had water. Maybe not more than it should, because I think that one has never had water. So I had to go close the water and Jeremiah's on his way. I obviously called him in panic because I don't want the boat to sink. Okay, so this is how the floor is. And it has this little thing. See if I can get it. And if you can see, ooh, that's smelly. So if you see, there's water in there. And it looks like it has maybe oil. I don't know. So Jeremiah came back and he's checking on it. There is a lot of water.
A couple 100 gallons through the whole bilge.
Okay, before we get all technical, let me pause this video and give you a little explanation what the bilge is, because we're going to be mentioning it a lot. So I want to make sure that you're not feeling lost or confused about what we're talking about. In this picture, you're going to see a little boat. Almost at the bottom, you're going to see a blue line, and right there is where the bilge is. And that is always full of water. That is completely normal. We have a pump and a sensor that will be activated every time that we get to certain levels of water. However, if that's not properly working, or if the pump is not working, your boat can actually take a lot more water than it should, and that's how you can sink your boat. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of people, especially if you don't see your boat as often and you don't even know that's happening. And once you get back to your boat, you might not have one. So it is very important that that is all working. But now that you know, let me go back to the video.
For some reason the pump wasn't activating, so you've got all this water down in here that is just accumulating from all the rain. And I think that compartment up front trickles into back here, so I'm hoping that with this pump on, that'll get emptied. If not, we'll have to get a P2.
Because even the one in the bedroom is also full of water.
This whole middle section of our bilge was up to, I don't know if you can see my hand very well.
You can see the line, the water line.
Up to right there. And now we're probably 5 inches down, maybe 6 inches to go. And this runs the full length of the boat in the bilge. Every bit of a couple 100 gallons of water was in there. And she's actually got to hold the bilge switch in the on position. For whatever reason, the switch was in the off position, so it wasn't kicking on to pump out the water as it got filled up.
So this is where the water comes out.
So I got a call today when I was at work from my lovely wife that the boat was taking on water.
Very smart wife.
Naturally, I freaked out because I don't know how extreme the level of water was. She sent me a couple pictures that were kind of hard to tell. The hatch right here was completely full of water. We were full of water up to just below this relief valve here. And so here's a backup pump, which was not connected. The electrical and one of the hoses had come loose just over time of nobody needing to access it. So it just kind of worked itself loose. And some of the wiring was actually burned up. So I got that rewired with some new fresh ends and reconnected the hose, turned it on, worked great, started pumping water to the rear bilge, which started pumping out. And if you come with me back to the engine bay, so if you look down in here, the water level is actually all the way up to here inside the bilge, which is obviously not what we want. I think it's a bad float valve on the bilge itself. So we're gonna have to take a look at that and maybe look at swapping out our bilge pump for a new one. Or, like I wanna do, swap it out for two that are wired in sequence so that if one ever goes out, we'll always have that second one as a backup just in case, so that we don't sink our boat.
Let's not sink our boat.
Yeah. But quick thinking from my wife that, you know, we needed to address this problem. She called me. She was a little bit concerned. I came home as fast as I could. 10 minutes of wiring and hose work, and we got our bilge emptied, and we're good to go.
So tell them how I figure it out.
She has got a supersonic sniffer that she smelled something different in the air and thought that it smelled like mildew or bad water.
Moldy.
Yeah, so she started looking in all the compartments. The 2 forward compartments are in the floor, so it's a lot easier than lifting up these engine covers. And she actually pulled up the one in the aft cabin as well. And lo and behold, there was water in all of them, which they're kind of angled up a little bit away from the center of the hull. So the lowest portion of the bilge is right here beneath the engines. So if those have water, because they're kind of curved a little bit like overly exaggerating like a banana, if those have water, this is full. But yeah, we saved our boat and our house. So right now I am replacing the bumpers on the sides of the boat. You can see the old one is sitting here, and the knots that were tied on here were super old and really tight from getting wet and being pulled on over and over. So instead of trying to untie it for a half hour, I just cut it off. So I tied 2 half hitches, and then I'm going to take these the working end of this line and back splice back into it.
So if you can see, the boat has been rubbing the duck, so it lost paint. So we're getting 2 more, and hopefully that'll work.
So for those of you wondering how you could do your own back splice at the house or on your own boat, you need to take these individual strands of your 3-strand line and work it back into the running side of your line. And to do that, I'm going to skip one. I'm going to go over one and then under the next one. So I just twist it apart to separate them, tuck it underneath, and then pull it through. Rotate a little bit. Now you can see where this one is, so I'm going to skip that one and go under the next one. Rotate a little bit more. Keep them pulled tight as you're working on it. And then you just work until this is sticking out as close to the end as you can get it. You cut it off and then burn it, and you're good to go.
Hold on. There you go.
Thanks for tuning in to Tips with the Captain.
So Jeremiah's gonna dive down with the guy. We're gonna both see the boat. So he's putting on his wetsuit.
It always pays to be a certified diver.
He's been wanting to dive for a while.
I think so. So we were hoping to be able to see the bottom of the boat to see about replacing the zincs, but the visibility is about 6 inches, where usually it's like at least 2 feet. And things have been getting stirred up a lot since the diver was doing the boat next door. So since then, the water's gotten a little bit more murky, and I can't see anything, but we're gonna have him go down anyways. So here he is. Hey. Yeah.
So we had a poop emergency with one of the hose on the tanks. So we need to go do a pump out emergency because we had poop in our room. Thank you very much.
So real quick, I'm going to give you guys an explanation of what happened with our toilet situation. I couldn't really do anything at the time because I was forearm deep in poop, and it was gross. So we had this really bad smell coming from the aft cabin from the toilets, and I thought maybe it was a gas leak, like fumes, or maybe a small drip somewhere. So we went underneath the bed platform where the holding tank is to check. And there's something called a pie eye that's round, and it's got little pie pieces cut out for finger grooves so you can turn it. So the collar that fits into was actually cracked at the bottom, so it was dripping a little bit, but the threads on it had they turned just enough to catch it and not let it fall. A buddy of ours here at the marina looked at it with me, and he tapped on the tank, and as soon as he tapped on it, that lid fell off. So the tank was already full, and the eye is about here. So everything that was up here drained until it got to here. So we probably had 3 or 4 gallons of waste just dumping out of the tank. It was disgusting. I had gloves on, thankfully, so I pushed the cap against the opening to try to contain some of it and try to twist it back on. Very, very messy. I was forearm deep up to here in stuff. Finally got the lid back on, went over and did a pump out, and then we cleaned out the tank pretty thoroughly, and then I actually put 5200 all over the lid so that I covered all the gaps and everything to completely seal it. And now we just need to get a new tank, a new holding tank, and at the same time as the tank, we're going to replace all of the hoses and the toilet, because I'm going to have to get in there anyways to do one job, so we might as well do all of it at once and just get a whole new sanitation system that won't have this problem again. Even though it was a pretty challenging week, we're still smiling. We got to spend some time with our friends, and we reminded each other to enjoy the process of getting to our end goal and not focus on the tough times when we're in the moment. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that we still have each other.